Back to that major protest just moments ago in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Democratic members walking out of a meeting to vote on judicial nominees, including President Trump's controversial former lawyer, Emil Bove. The members accusing Republican majority members of breaking debate rules and in turn calling now for the Senate referee to rule on whether these nominations can advance to the full Senate. Let's take a listen to Senator Cory Booker as he directly called out Judiciary Chairman, Republican Chuck Grassley.
You are a good man. You are a decent man. Why are you doing this? What is Donald Trump saying to you that are making you do something which is violating the decorum of this committee, the rules of this committee, the decency and the respect that we have each other to at least hear each other out? This is an abuse of power. It's an undermining of the well-being and the integrity of this Senate and this committee that I for so long, I've been so honored to be a part of. This is wrong, sir, and I join with my colleagues in leaving. This is a sham. Vote, this is wrong. We're better than this.
Joining us now is someone who was in the room, Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. He joined his Democratic colleagues in walking out of that meeting. Senator, what made you decide to walk out?
The rules of the Judiciary Committee provide very clearly for the motion that Senator Booker was requesting. The judge, in this case, Emil Bove, was a nominee to a New Jersey Circuit Court seat. So Cory has a particular interest in this judge. And before the chairman and the Judiciary Committee can move to a vote, if there's an objection to moving to the vote, he has to have a vote in the committee to authorize him to move on to the vote. It's a little bit like breaking a filibuster. And instead of having that vote, the chairman just went ahead and started calling the roll as if that rule did not exist. And I think that was what particularly aggravated all of us. You know, we might well have lost that vote. Fine, at least you're playing by the rules. But when they're ramrodding this very troubled, very dangerous nominee through and blasting through committee rules as they're doing it, that's a bad combination. So we all left to deny the Republicans a quorum. And we're going to have, I think, considerable debate with the parliamentarian over whether these votes were valid, what happened when we left, was there a quorum that we undid, and how did this all reflect on those votes, which I view at this point as having been invalid votes.
So it was after you walked out, they voted, they advanced the nomination of Bove and the others, despite your objections. Just the fact that they moved forward anyway, what's your reaction to that?
Well, I put it in the context of something else that is happening, and that is two Trump judges who are on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals have stayed the criminal contempt investigation that Judge Boasberg announced that would look at, among other things, this nominee's participation in contemptuous conduct with respect to his orders regarding the illegal deportations. So on the one hand, you have Trump judges on the D.C. Circuit stalling an actual investigation that would look into this, that would build a record of what Emil Bove did in that circumstance before a real live judge. And on the other hand, you've got the Judiciary Committee giving him a free pass to not answer questions to the committee and ramrodding his nomination through in violation of committee rules, but ahead of the hearing in Judge Boasberg's courtroom about whatever mischief Bove got up to.
Your colleague, Senator Booker, called this meeting a sham. He said, we're better than this. He pleaded with the chairman for more debate. For our viewers, what do they need to know about Bove? What questions do you still have about his nomination?
Bove is a bad guy. Simple as that. He's been in the Department of Justice for about 6 months. In that time, he has used a criminal case to try to extract political favors from the mayor of New York City, which is appalling prosecutorial conduct. He has helped a U.S. attorney invent a fake criminal investigation to pursue a bogus freezing of assets that they simply didn't like going to climate groups. And he participated in that conversation, which he warned Department of Justice attorneys, if these judges keep messing with Trump's deportation schemes, we're going to have to be ready to go into court and tell them, F you. He didn't use the F, he used the full word. And then he lied about that in the committee. So in just 6 months, in just 3 things that we know about, he's been involved in 3 really major incidents of prosecutorial misconduct. So God knows what he'll get up to in a lifetime position on the court. And God knows what we still don't know, for instance, about whether those Trump judges were teed up to stall the Boasberg proceedings so that the Republicans on the Judiciary Committee could ram this guy through before that factual record was developed.
Did you ever imagine that your Republican colleagues would simply move forward on a nomination like this?
No, this is the worst of the worst. This is unprecedented and pretty dismal. I've got a lot of people on that committee I've known for a long time on the Republican side, and let's just say nobody was trying to make eye contact during this sad proceeding.
One of your former colleagues, former Senator Heidi Heitkamp, told me last hour that there are real concerns about Emil Bove ultimately being nominated for a U.S. Supreme Court seat. Do you share those concerns?
Once he's there on the circuit court, presumably he's in line, and if the only virtue that Trump cares about in judicial nominees is direct personal loyalty and fealty to him above the Constitution and above judicial duties and above the law, Bove's an obvious guy for him because he's demonstrated that he puts his personal loyalty to Donald J. Trump above the Constitution, above judicial independence and duties, and above the law.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you very much for taking the time with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.